Before we get started, though, full disclosure, I don't know anything about anime. I've seen that's a popular topic. If you guys start talking about that,
I was really thinking about
I'm gonna
pulling
be
an
like
anime on
Stevie
you.
Wonder in a corn maze. I ain't gonna know where to go.
I did the question of, I really do think bullying is some type of like positive thing in society.
Handle it, and the less surprises you're gonna get from
Dictate what a person's going to be
Exactly,
ultimately.
unless you have like a yearly thing where it's like every single year you have to go, get a background check or get a mental health evaluation
so
to own your gun.
people, it's like, oh, because I paid you to get me sick. It's all, it's,
no, you
go-
pull out your phone.
go to
You're
Google and all
stating the
that.
fact.
Yeah,
I
that's
need
a real. You
I
can
need-
bring up the science.
No,
facts.
no, it's not me. You're bringing up the bibliography. I want to see your facts.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Two Couch Talk. We made it.
What's up, everybody?
Episode
Episode
5.
episode 5.
Yay! And I'm seeing right now, you guys are looking over to my right. We got a special guest on the show. Hey, we'll introduce him right now. But anyways, I'm going to be your host today. My name is Gavinci Raw, a.k.a. Eli. I am also here with our other host, Jared Mannche. I don't have a
Also
middle name for him
Mannche.
today.
Yeah, not today.
Not today. It's all right. And our other guest is going to be Alex Busta. And, of course, to my right, it is Rick. I karate kicked your mom, Perez in the face. Hey!
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome, Rick.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us on the
I
show.
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you
the
so
invitation.
much.
I appreciate it. Before we get started, though, full disclosure, I don't know anything about anime. I've seen that's a popular topic. If you guys start talking about that,
I was really thinking about
I'm gonna
pulling
be
an
like
anime on
Stevie
you.
Wonder in a corn maze. I ain't gonna know where to go.
Uh,
Maybe an off limits one.
maybe. So today we're going to actually forego the additional topic for all of us. We're just going to have one additional topic, in which is I'm going to bring that up. And the reason being is time constraints. And Rick has asked us to forego even asking him for his topics, but it's great because then he just bring his topic on it, or the discussion on our topics. So it's going to be great, a little more information on things.
I'm a giver.
Hey, that's all what it's all about, Rick, sometimes.
Exactly.
So with that being said, we of course we're gonna go over the rules real quick. Every topic actually has 10 minutes, and after that we actually have an additional 5, and only 5 could be used once. So with that being said, let's get the show started. Since I'm the host, I'm gonna start it off with our controversial topic, our first one.
Yes, sir.
You guys ready for this?
What do you got for today,
don't
Eli?
think so.
All right. The first controversial topic is bullying.
Wow.
Bullying.
Yeah, bullying.
All right.
If it's beneficial to us or negative on us. All right, so let's begin. 10 minutes starts now.
All right. So, bullying. So I was bullied quite a bit when I was a kid because I had red hair. So I don't know. I guess I was just different than all the other kids, so they kind of picked me out of the group.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess it hurt at the time, but it was like it gave me thicker skin to where like now if somebody says something, I don't really care what they say or what people think of me.
Yeah.
Because I know that I like the way I look and I like myself and I like my hair. So
And that's what it's all about in reality. And
so I think without that, I don't know. It might have that point where I don't care about what people think might have come later in my life, or I might not have even gotten there yet.
mm-hmm.
So I do think it does help with that to an extent, but for the most part, like, bullying's wrong. It's just you shouldn't bully in the first place, but there could be some
beneficiary.
yeah, like beneficial things that come out of it later in life.
Well, because I agree to that. That's the reason why I said it the way I did. The question of, I really do think bullying is some type of like positive thing in society, especially when it comes to like building thicker skin, or because there has to be some type of adversity in people's lives in order for them to achieve something or go to the next goal. Because if everything is just presented to you it's just not going to really get you that real ambition to keep going. As soon as you get it, then you're just going to, all right, that's good enough.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you didn't have the adversities priced against you. And even like having bullying presented against you, then that purposely makes you grow as a human being, and being like your situation where it's just like, you know what, I'm not going to take no bullshit from no one. I'm just going to be better in this and move up
Exactly.
from it. Granted, actually, I want to hear your thoughts on this, Rick, because I know you have a son, whereas like none of us have kids, so it makes me curious what you think about that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, when I was a kid growing up, when there was a problem, excuse me, you would just get off at the kids' bus stop. Remember that? You would get off at the kids' bus stop and duke it out there, and all the kids would get off there and
start
walk.
cheering.
And there you go, right?
Yeah.
All right.
But as far as my son and bullying, I tell him it's wrong, and to stand up for his friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those things are gonna happen. They're gonna happen in life. They're gonna happen regardless if you're looking for it or not. It's part of growing up, and how you respond to it is what's gonna determine how everything goes. Some people they can't handle it. Some people just cannot handle it.
Exactly.
Other people, turn to jokes being funny, or they learn how to fight or take some type of road like that. So I mean, you gotta do something about it, though. Definitely, you can't just keep going day after day after day, because then it gets to the ultimate, and the ultimate is
Well, the
Yeah.
ultimate is how you see school shootings.
school shootings, and that's what
people-
it is, and that's
Yeah.
and that's the ultimate. In you hear about the kid that did that, and you're like, well, he was the quiet kid, nobody liked him, he sat in the
Mhm.
corner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you should try and be nice to everybody. That's what I tell my son. Be nice to everybody, because you never know. You might have a lot in common with this person. Then you know.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you're absolutely right.
And we don't know what people are going through nowadays either. So I definitely agree with, like, you just got to kind of treat everybody blanketed, give them respect, and just kind of just genuinely treat people the way that you would want to be treated. An interesting part I think about that question too is that, like, we're talking, like Rick was talking about when you were a kid, that was one of the things you just settle it with your hands and you guys walk away and you're done.
Yes.
Nowadays, I mean, physical bullying is just like the tip of the iceberg, because we have things around now like social media, phones, the internet. Exactly. So there's so many different ways for people to get picked on, where they don't necessarily have the opportunity to get any justice from that situation, or really stand up for themselves in a way that they feel is actually validating. Hey, I know who I am, and I'm not what this person is saying about me.
So do you think that because of that, the way the internet is and all that, and there's like anonymity where you're not very there per se, you can cause a person to either transition into being even worse than like the way this person's being treated, kind of like that situation? Like they're like, the only way I could get some type of vengeance is even being worse than that person, and trying to like make it into something bigger than what it really is? Or is it more like, this is a good opportunity to grow some thicker skin? Or is it more like, you know what, I hate this, it's not going to work for me, maybe I should just take my own life, or something to that degree?
Well, I mean, it's possible, but the big problem nowadays is a lot of kids aren't taught coping mechanisms for the kind of things like this that they're gonna come across in real life. So I think a lot of it starts with, especially when it's kids being bullied, the parents need to be able to get involved. They need to have an open line of communication with their children, to where the kids can talk to their parents about that and not feel like they're, ratting someone out, or being a little bitch because you went and told your parents, oh, Johnny is, he's fucking with me after school every day. And you need to have that open line of communication so that kids can get that stuff out, and the parents can help them figure out, all right, well, here's what's going on. Here's what you can do about it. That is not gonna cause you to still feel harmed by these other people, and not gonna cause you to retaliate in any kind of way that brings you down to their level, or even worse.
I think that's huge, the communication between the parent and the child, because I mean, it shows an interest in their life and a trust that they can tell you whatever, they can come to you with whatever problem it is, and that's what you want. That's the ultimate goal, is to be able to have your child tell you whatever it is on the scale and level of whatever. You just want to be able to just, even if you don't, sometimes I don't have the answer, I'll just listen, and sometimes that's listening is the best kind of method to take in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like when I was a kid, I had a very open communication with my parents where I would tell them stuff, and I don't know, I just feel like maybe kids these days don't feel, I don't know, safe. There's like a certain like stigma around telling your parents or telling a teacher or somebody that something's going on. They're like, oh, if you can't handle it yourself, then you're just being a little bitch.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, if I was getting bullied, I'd tell my parents would go to the school, or if they knew the kid's parents, they'd go over to their house and they'd be like, hey, look, like this needs to stop,
or we're gonna have a problem,
or we're gonna or we're gonna have a problem. So it wasn't never I don't know, it was never hard for me to go do that, but for some kids it really is. And
that's funny you say that, because as a kid I always had to deal with it myself, not because I didn't feel I couldn't approach my parents. It was more like, it's kind of like how I was raised, more like you handle your business regardless as to the situation. And I mean, obviously if it's like life and death, that's different, but if it's like, you're getting bullied or someone's talking trash or something, like, you would approach them, and you're the one who had to get the balls to go do that. And I get the situation where there's like some kids who just really can't do that, especially when you're talking like a little small, short, skinny little kid being picked on by this humongous monster. I mean, it's not feasible for them to think, oh, I'm gonna say, hey, you better leave me alone, or I'm gonna whoop your ass or something. It's like, well, you're gonna probably get your ass chewed out.
yeah,
Literally. So that's like, I think back to when I was a kid and stuff I dealt with, it was just more like, the few times where I had those little adversities, I would tell them like, hey, if you want to do this, let's do this. And then usually they back down, and I'm like, whoosh. But, but ultimately it was more like, you know what? It's just, I said what I said. It is what it is. If we're going to do this, let's do this.
Yeah.
All
right.
And it's interesting too, because a lot of different people are going to get bullied a lot of different ways. The big giant kid who's bigger than everybody else in his class, people are going to talk shit to this kid like you're fat, or
you're ugly.
Yeah, but it's not a physical altercation. Whereas if you go on the opposite end of the spectrum, you get the scrawny, tiny kid who obviously physically probably can't defend himself in the same way.
Yeah.
And then that's when you get people who are gonna pick on kids physically. And so I think the person who it's happening to is also gonna kind of determine what type of bullying they get, and depending on which they're able to handle better, emotionally, that's gonna kind of determine the outcome.
I think nowadays more the bullying is shifted from actual physical contact to there it is.
There it is.
That's the
10 minutes is up, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Would any of you gentlemen like to use your 5 minutes?
No, but you know what? You guys do the 5 minutes. You got like you're selling stuff, and you're like, you want 5 minutes? You want to use 5 minutes? You want to use 5 minutes? It's like I seen that, and I was like, what's going on over there?
Yeah, 5 minutes going once, 5 minutes going twice.
No,
So-
I'm not.
No.
All
No
right,
5
no,
minutes.
I'm good.
No.
All right. That's it. That was the first topic, bullying.
Bullying sucks.
Let
Bottom line.
Let us know what you think in the comments below. And the biggest thing too is, I always was curious about how it's different for women versus males, because we're all males, so we don't know what it's like for the other side of the spectrum. So if you're a female and you just heard this and you feel this type of way, please comment below and let us know. We'd really appreciate that.
They braid their hair at the end, don't they?
Maybe a pillow fight. All right, so on to our next topic. We are starting with Mannche. So Mannche, what
Yes,
would you like
sir.
to talk about?
All right, so for my controversial topic, we are going to be talking about gun control.
Gun
Oh,
control.
wow.
Yeesh.
Gun control.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, gun control. 10 minutes starts now.
All right, who's going to start it off?
Well, so as far as talking about gun control, are you talking about, like, are you coming at it from the terms of,
Like
do
good or
need
bad,
it,
or
yeah, do we need it for more safety? I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely
Restrictions. I mean,
I
it's
mean,
been in the paper a lot in the
that's-
news lately.
See, but that's the thing is like, well, what do you guys think? That's why I kind of left it as open end.
An
It's like,
open-ended question.
do you guys want more restrictions? Do you like which side are you on?
Well, I guess I mean, as our history in America has kind of shown us, one of the hardest things that there's ever going to be to do in our country is to disarm the public. When we founded our country, there's the way that we were able to kind of overcome onslaughts from England and places like that, is that we had not a militarized population, but an armed population who, whenever some big threat would come up, were able to gather together, form a militia, kind of like a makeshift army,
Yeah.
and handle that threat. Guns and being armed is bred right into the roots of American culture. So I don't think you're ever gonna see them fully go away. As far as gun control, I would feel like gun education would probably
go.
be a better answer
I was
to
gonna
it.
say that.
The more educated you are on any subject, the better you know how to handle it, and the less surprises you're going to get from interacting with this thing, because you have more knowledge, you're smarter about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the problem with that is the access is just too easy. You always hear about little Johnny knew where his dad kept the gun.
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
educating our kids, if you ever go in a house where there's a gun just sitting there, leave,
Yeah.
leave it alone, because that's the biggest issue is, somebody knew where it was at. They knew where the mom hid it or the dad hid it or whatever. Gun locks. I know sometimes they offer free locks for the guns. I think people should definitely take advantage of programs like that. I think you can never take the guns away. That's never going to happen. Gun education is going to be your best route, because guns have been here forever and they're going to continue to be here. They're more sophisticated. They do what they do. I think education is the best route for kids and people. There's a lot of people that use it recklessly, but there are people that use it, in a good way. Go to the range, they clean it, they lock it, they keep it out of the hands of people.
Yeah, and you're right, because most of those people don't even have it out. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I have guns, but I never carry them on me. They're never around anywhere. To be honest with you, they're under lock and safe, and no one knows except for me where they're at. So it's like, and to be honest with you, I forget about them.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I really don't need them, so why am I going to carry them? So I don't care. So I just
Exactly.
leave them alone and go from there. As far as gun control for the American population, that's hard to say. It's like a real gray area, because I agree with Rick and Alex that it's never going to really go away in some shape or form, because let's say like they actually did instill some type of like law. That's it. Americans can now have guns.
The
no more.
anarchy.
It would. Absolute anarchy. And even
The
then,
purge.
the purge will happen. And then the situation would be countless bootleg guns.
Yep.
There's going to be countless people making like their own firearms, where it's like the ammunition, and those are going to be blowing up and killing people because they're trying to make these type of cartridges that don't work right. And then and it's going to be a huge black market item. And hell, there's already guns on the black market. So just make it more of an overflow of that. And it's just going to create more of a populace of people demanding that. It's going to create more situations where, I mean, I don't think that any real American wants to really deal with that. I mean, I really don't want to deal with that.
And people are like, if you make all the guns illegal, like most drugs are illegal. We still got drugs.
Exactly.
Plenty of
People are gonna get what they want,
Exactly.
one way or the other,
Yeah.
whether it's legal or illegal. So one other topic that I see a lot is people who are like, they need stricter background checks, or they need like a mental evaluation. And I do agree with that, but at the same time, it's like, if I bought a gun now,
which you could.
right now I could walk into a store and buy a gun, like no problem.
Good old Arizona.
Yeah.
But like
Wally World.
say like 10 years down the line, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm like homeless or something, or I'm like cracked out on drugs, or whatever. And
Colorful.
yeah. And I still have the gun, and I was perfectly mentally stable back then. Now I'm not mentally stable, but I still have the gun. Like, it doesn't. I understand not selling a gun to a person right now that has like issues or is thinking about like killing himself or killing other people. But I mean, you can't
really dictate what a person's going to be
exactly
ultimately.
unless you have like a yearly thing where it's like every single year you have to go, get a background check or get a mental health evaluation
So
to own your guns.
People find a way, I think, regardless. You can go into a
Exactly.
legit store and buy it, and you can go to a small gun shop, and they don't care.
Exactly. They're
'Cause they
just
want
trying
to
to make
sell.
money.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, people will find a way. Alcohol used to be illegal,
Mhm.
and
The
then
Prohibition
they
era.
legalized it now, obviously. So I think just you can't. You find a way. People find a way.
Sure, and
Exactly.
when
Yeah.
alcohol was illegal, it was it was almost more prevalent
Exactly.
in society than prior to its illegalization. And I think the whole thing comes down to logically, criminals are criminals by definition because they don't follow the law. So putting more laws on the books is maybe not necessarily. It's not going to cure everything. It could hinder people or delay them from being able to obtain a firearm, but it's like you said, one way or another, if somebody's trying to get a hold of something like that, they're going to be able
they're going to do
yeah.
it.
Exactly.
I mean, because right now I could literally go online and order the parts, not the actual gun itself, but parts to build a gun and stockpile that. And if something like that ever happened, then boom, I have guns for days, and I could really just make them and then sell them.
How about when 3D printers came out?
Right.
And that was a big thing, was that people could make weapons from a 3D printer.
That's made out of plastic and it's undetectable by metal detectors and things like that.
Right. What does TSA do against a plastic gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's a tricky situation.
Why do you
But-
have to bring up a gray area? Damn you.
Because that's kind of topics.
Well, and it is a good thing to bring up because, like we stated already, they're pretty prevalent throughout our society here in our country. And when you have something that's a tool, you can kill someone with a screwdriver. You can kill someone with a hunting knife. You can. There's a lot of different ways. I think that the reason gun control has become such a big thing is because of its capacity to harm so many people in such a short amount of time. You know what else can do that? A nail gun.
Yeah.
So,
Happy Gilmore.
right, Mr. Larson. So that's the thing is they're technically tools. They're tools to be used for extreme cases of self-defense, for hunting, for things like police officers to subdue criminals, and things like that.
Well, it's funny you say
And
that because I was
that's-
about to throw that your guys' way. If we were to ban all the guns throughout the the Americans and all that, would the police be allowed to have guns?
Well, of course.
They'd have to be.
Of course.
So
See, in some European countries, cops don't have guns.
yeah,
True.
And,
No.
and that's what I mean. Like, then what would dictate them from not being power hungry enough to actually try to do something like crazy? Because what if you do get that one guy who's actually super unstable, but he happens to be a cop? Now he has all the military force or like guns and all that at his disposal.
Well, and that's
No,
why
that's true.
that's why you'll never
that's
see
a good point.
That's why you'll never see the end of guns in America, because
Exactly.
again, from our very beginning, we've utilized them to keep from being overcome.
Exactly.
Overcome by our government, overcome by another government, what have you. It's a tool to use to defend your freedom in those most extreme circumstances.
But you have teachers now. They're talking about arming teachers in schools. I mean, that I don't know. I don't really know about that. I mean,
I don't know
the
about
teacher
that.
would have to be like super qualified. His certifications would have to
Exactly.
be like spot on, because what if the guy's a moron, and he leaves his gun out, or it falls out, or he shoots himself? There we go.
Oh, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Would any of you guys like to use your 5 to continue this conversation?
I decline.
Nope.
No, I'm good.
Nope.
okay.
All right, I'm good too.
All right.
All right, so
There
gun
we go.
control,
Gun control.
Mr. Gray Area over there.
Yes, sir.
So
Those kind of topics.
so we're gonna head over to Alex
Alex.
Busta. What we got on the agenda for today, Alex?
All right, so my topic for today, I wanted to kind of go over and discuss insurance. As a slight, not totally controversial, but a slightly controversial. It's something that you have to pay money into, you're required to, for medical and auto, and you may never use it, and if you don't use it, you're never going to see that money again, but it saves your ass in a pinch.
I don't know. Okay, all right. So insurance, 10 minutes begins now.
Insurance. Well, I'm a Geico man myself, so
Like
I don't know about you guys.
I have Geico too for my my car insurance.
But I think about that, like what am I actually paying into?
Exactly.
Like they don't send you a refund if you don't use it, right? I mean, they don't say, "Hey, you know what? Good job not screwing up this year. Here." They don't do that. They will never do that, and they always up it seems.
Right.
In fact. So I don't know. It might be a scam, but
Now, one thing I guess a little more specifically too, that I was talking with my wife about the other night is the bullshit of a deductible when it comes to medical insurance.
Yeah, because you already paid into this thing, and yet you got to pay a deductible on top of it, and you actually don't get like you were just saying, Rick, any reimbursement for it.
Right.
no.
So if you've already purchased insurance, you have it active, it should be literally covering your ass at this point.
100%.
I have a friend who just found out that through his work, his insurance has a $2,000 deductible
Oh my
for him and
God.
his wife, and he pays about $1,000 a month for him and his family
Wow.
just to have the policy. So at this point, in order for insurance to cover anything for that guy and his family, that's not going to come out of his pocket. He's going to spend $12,000 in premiums for the year. 5 figures in insurance is already bullshit.
Oh yeah.
And another $2,000 on his deductible. He'll have to spend $14,000 of his own money before his insurance will cover anything.
That's insane. And it's, oh my God, that's so insane.
That is.
Because the idea, the biggest thing about, okay, I was in marketing 101 once upon a time when I was going to college. Hey, brief history on Gavinci Raw. And during that time period, our professor, she would explain like degrees of like what's the best business motto, and she said the best business motto, and this is gonna get flack, but hey, it is what it is. The best business model is insurance. And I was like, why is that? And she said, because insurance is imaginary. It is absolutely not real, because you have people coming and paying you money to hold on to them. So when they need it, you put it back. It's almost like a bank. So that way I can have medical and all this. But you actually have to pay a deductible now because they weren't getting enough money from what you were giving them to cover this, that, and the other. So it's basically you're paying and additionally paying for something that you don't have because it's imaginary. It's just like the idea of being able to have insurance is like peace of mind. Like, oh, thank God I have insurance. I'm okay. But then when you really think about all the math and money and everything you put into it, it's all fake. It's imaginary.
Right.
So all these companies that exist out there, it's just money conglomerates. And in addition to that, they've gotten into the government and make us now have to legally have insurance. So it's just like a real ugly, vicious cycle. And where it's like, this is actually a really bad thing in a lot of ways. Don't get me wrong. I've seen some people benefit from it. But like, for instance, like at work, if you were to get hurt, they won't cover it in our state. You physically have to fly to a different state out of your own pocket. And then they'll pay a certain portion of the deductible, but then you have to pay the rest. And then that's the only way to actually get surgeries for certain things.
Wow.
Where it's like, why wouldn't they just cover it here when they already know you're here? And or if you're really hurt like that, why would they want you to go in anywhere or traveling? Okay. That was a Gavinci Raw rant of the day.
Yeah, that was.
Hey.
Hey, when you were in college, did you have a trapper keeper? I mean, let's say way back.
Of course. Of course. I have a trapper keeper. I had the one with the little neon cat on it.
There you go. That's
Hey.
the best one.
That's the best
man.
one.
Like
Or the
two
one with the...
kinds, cats or hot air balloons. You had to pick one.
Yeah, I had to pick one or the other.
Jared doesn't know what we're talking about. We just showed our age.
Yeah, you guys rode dinosaurs to school.
It's not the Flintstones, man.
Oh man.
But yeah.
So like I don't know. For me, insurance isn't too big of a deal right now for me because I'm still under my parents' insurance.
Oh, that's why.
And my dad
that's nice.
My dad is in the military.
Oh, so you have really good insurance.
So
wow.
insurance is pretty I don't know, I guess easy for us. It's a lot easier than say if you got your own insurance separate from your job, like say your job didn't have benefits or anything, or even insurance through your job.
Which is kind of like what Walmart was doing, where they're having people sign up for access, so that way they have insurance.
Yeah,
exactly.
To get them on state programs that you and me pay for.
Exactly. So,
shout out Walmart.
I'm not too educated on this whole insurance thing. I just know that it's expensive, but it does help when you need it. It's just like, I wish I kind of knew when I needed it, because then I could be like, oh, now I'll get insurance.
And that's
I'll
the
pay
thing.
it for a few months, and it'll be like, okay, we're good, and then
You
I'll take
never
it away.
know.
Exactly. Something can
You
happen
never
to me
know.
tomorrow, or something can happen to me 10 years down the line, but you never know.
You never know.
It's one of those, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Exactly. Which
I like
sucks.
rubbers.
But which sucks.
I
It
could
really
help
does,
it.
because once I do start paying insurance, I really don't want to. But I'm going to be very thankful if something ever comes up that I
doesn't
did.
end.
It does. I was gonna say, but truth be told, Jared, there's people who I know right now, as we're speaking, do not have insurance. They have no shape of insurance. They have no form of it. Nothing. They just cannot afford it because the job they have is such a low-paying job, because it's like they just can't. It's not saying that they're incapable of getting a better job. It's just, nothing was really hiring, or nothing really came up for them. So unfortunately, this is the only job they could find for the moment, where it's like McDonald's or Walmart or wherever. But that's what I mean. Like, they're just in between that little rock and hard place where it's like, well, I really don't have insurance, and it's like I really can't do nothing. So it is what it is, kind of, so.
Yeah. But when you get in an accident, you're hoping the other guy does have it,
Oh, absolutely.
because then you're up shit creek, and it just gets really messy, and it's just, you're pretty much on your own, because most of the time those people, they're gone.
Oh, yeah. They'll disappear off the
So,
face of the earth.
Right, and a lot of the things that we require insurance for are things that would get so astronomically expensive to the common person if we didn't have it. What if you get a kidney stone one day and you got to go into the hospital for an MRI? Do you have $6,000, $5,000? You stand up so you can pull it out of your ass and hand it over. It's money that the common person just doesn't typically have.
Yeah.
And so, it does have a lot of major benefits, and they can save you from a lot of headache down the road. It's just hard. It's hard to see the benefit when you don't need to use it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
especially if you've never been hurt or injured before and needed the insurance throughout your whole life. So
Yeah, I'm one of those people who pays into insurance, and I never use it. Hell, there's been times where I was even hurt and I still didn't use my insurance.
yeah.
Not that kind, but car insurance, any type of insurance. I mean, it
Yeah.
comes up on one end or the other, and it's all
Exactly.
rolled in. So, I mean, you throw the dice on that one. You have to. It's one of those things that you have to pay. You don't look forward to it, and your check sucks. But
Yeah, and for those type of situations, it's just like you said, you got to roll the dice with it. I mean, because I'm not 100% opposed to insurance, but I'm also not for it, especially when you know the logic behind it, especially like income wise. I mean, at that rate, it's like you might as well just get it on access. If you don't feel comfortable enough to actually use your money to actually pay into it, then you can just get on access. But it's all that. But that's all delegated on if you make, X amount of dollars, if it's low enough.
Something I would be interested to find out, just for the sake of research on it, is let's say Progressive, Geico, State Farm, and one of those bigger companies. How much do you think that they take in premiums and revenue annually versus what they actually have to pay out?
The input versus out. Yeah. I could just imagine probably billions that they're getting in versus probably thousands that they're putting out.
Because you consider that Progressive is not taking all your premiums and just putting it in a drawer and anything like that.
Yeah.
Your money's not with them. That's that's got to be invested some way or another. That because there's no company that's gonna hold on to that amount of money and not use it to make money in some form.
And that's
or
why they make
fashion.
you jump through hoops when you do have to use it.
Right.
Because
Exactly,
they're
'cause
like
they're
holding
trying
on
to-
to it.
They're like, oh man, we don't have the money to give this guy, so oh yeah, just hold off for like a week. You'll be okay. You'll make it.
No, you're absolutely right, Alice. Because I actually, when I was in a car accident and spoke to the people, they straight up told me, "No, it's our money," and it's like, "Well, no, it's my money." They're like, "No, as soon as it leaves your hands, it's our money, and we can do whatever we want and however we please with it." And that funny part is that was my insurance company telling me that that's the other guy's insurer. That's the way it is. Period.
Right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was 10 minutes. All right, does anybody want to use their 5 for that?
Hell no.
No,
Nah,
good.
I think we covered everything on insurance.
On insurance.
Yeah. Necessary evil.
You guys can wake up now.
All right, so final topic is, I'm going to bring this one up.
Is it midget porn?
Maybe, possibly.
Yeah,
Not
I
this.
mean,
If you guys are lucky, maybe. All right, so final topic, which gets us back to me. This one is kind of controversial, kind of not, but we'll see what you guys think about it. The flu shot.
Oh.
If it's beneficial to people or is it actually really hurting people? Let's begin. 10 minutes.
Beneficial.
You really think beneficial?
100%. 100% beneficial. That is the way that our bodies work. And
take in a little bit of the virus, your body makes antibodies to fight the virus. So
Uh-huh.
when the virus actually hits your system, like out in the open air, you already got the white blood cells to defend yourself against it. If you don't have anything in your body, then you're going to get sick, and then you're going to get those antibodies,
That
and
is
then
not
you'll
true.
be. Yeah, it is.
I've never gotten a flu shot.
Same here.
Never.
I don't trust the flu shot.
No,
No, never.
I've been getting the flu shot. Well, I mean, back when I lived with my parents every single year.
Well, would you get sick after you get it? Which I know that's actually
No.
what the actual flu shot's supposed to be.
Yeah.
No, you don't get sick.
You don't get
some
sick?
some people with weaker immune systems will get sick because they can't handle it, but like whenever I got the flu shot, I never felt sick, not a headache or a runny nose or nothing. It was like, but at the same time, afterwards I never got sick from
Like
that.
someone else was.
Yeah, even when I went to school, like I went to a public school for my whole like K through 12, and I was around kids who were sick with that same thing, and I never got sick.
Yeah.
I was like, well, truth be told, I've been around people, especially like my nieces and them, that were sick with the flu, and I never got sick, even though I
No.
didn't get the flu shot.
Exactly, and you guys just might have stronger immune systems than the common person.
Oh well, thank you.
But
Well, I
that,
appreciate that.
but that's not. But you can't. I don't know. It's that's a very hard thing to measure.
Uh-huh.
So you can't really
I've always thought it was
generalize
bullshit.
it.
I think it's bullshit. Honestly, I think it's whatever they're pumping into people's bodies is not 100% the flu
I'm
or
on
whatever.
that. Yep, that's me too.
I think there's something a little more in there to help actually get people's immune system even weaker, because all the people I've met have gotten it usually end up sick for 2 to 3 weeks, and then usually they tell them, oh, you might get sick for like a week, and it's like, oh, you've been sick for almost a month. Why? It's like, oh, because I paid you to get me sick, and then now I have these antibodies where I'm good, but then every year they get the flu shot, they get sick or sicker.
Yeah. I don't all that. I don't know about all that,
So-
but just the part of the no flu shot. Yeah, I'm against the flu shot.
All right. So what do you think, Alex? Then
Yeah,
chime in on this.
No, I mean I've gotten them before. I've had years where I've gotten them and I've felt not so great for a day or two. I've had years where I've gotten them and been totally fine. Just a sore arm from the shot.
Uh-huh.
I've had years where I've skipped them completely. I can't even tell you how long it's been since I had an actual flu. It's probably been years. My immune system's probably not 100%, but I definitely think that like vaccinations and inoculations, stuff like that, are like a good thing to have, because just in medical science, as long as it's been around, this is kind of it coming to fruition. This is the best way that we have currently to address things like the flu, measles, mumps, polio, all that.
Well, what do you think about even medical science showing medical books that every time they do that, there's always another form of it coming even stronger because we kind of mutated it?
Is that true?
Yeah, there's.
Let me see the sources.
Yeah.
Pull out your phone. It's all. It's, go
no, you
go-
pull out your phone.
go to
You're
Google and all
stating the
that.
fact.
Yeah,
I need
that's
you- I
that's a
need
real.
your-
You
I
can
need-
bring up the science.
No,
facts.
no. It's not me. You're bringing up the bibliography. I want to see your facts.
So-
I'm not going to do the research for you.
Might
So-
need
so-
a referee here.
Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to find out, please, I mean, without a doubt, all our topics and everything we're talking about, please research it yourself. Do the research yourself, especially if you don't believe us. Do your research.
Well,
Just for the sake of argument right now, it's in research. It's in medical books that
Okay.
usually it causes a bacteria or anything like that to grow and manifest into something more, or virus or anything like that manifest more into this more super virus that we got to figure out how to kill and stuff like that. Because even like they're saying, I forgot how long they said it's going to be, but that like antibiotics are not going to be really beneficial to humans much longer because these viruses are starting to mutate and grow and be stronger than what they were from the previous years or decades ago. Because, well, I mean, let me ask you this. Do you think people from, we'll just say 1900, came here to this decade, do you think they would be able to survive from all the viruses we have now?
Hell no.
No, I really think that they would instantly,
Prob-
they would get
probably
violently
not
sick.
unless they had vaccines.
I don't think they'd be able to survive in our time period because we have a multitude of different things that could afflict them.
Uh-huh.
I also don't think that we could survive in their time period.
You don't think so?
No.
Really?
Because
Well,
by
I mean-
what you guys said, the logic of
Because-
dictation, what you guys said, we've been creating, medical science since then, so we've just been improving it since. So technically, if we go back then, we should be incredibly immune to everything that they have.
That's what
Well,
I
we're-
would think.
But
Yeah.
we're going.
Yeah, but some things have been phased out over the years. They might have a virus that we've never even seen before back then that ravaged the land, but we don't know what it is. We don't have a lot of medical history going all the way back to there.
And it also depends on if you're asking, is my 32-year-old already inoculated body going back to 1900, or am I just being born in 1900?
Exactly. See, that's the thing is like, if I had never had a vaccine in my life,
Uh-huh.
and a person from 1900 never had a vaccine in their life, and we switched places, what's the difference?
That there's a lot different viruses
No.
existed now.
What's the difference?
Well, I think I see what you're saying, because if
If-
we were born back then,
Uh-huh.
and we weren't inoculated for things like polio or measles or things like that were fairly prevalent
Mhm.
back then, we'd have just as easy of a chance to catch that as if someone from 1900 came into our time period and was assaulted by like our current version of the flu virus or things like that.
It's the same. Like, we're still people,
Uh-huh.
so it doesn't, like, if you're telling me yes, vaccines have gotten better, that like if I went back there, I mean, I can't guarantee. This is all like hypothetical. So I
Yeah,
guess
it's
I
all
can't
hypothetical,
guarantee.
yeah.
I guess I can't guarantee that I wouldn't get sick or that I would get sick.
Uh-huh.
I mean, but if the people from there came here, they would probably get sick and then they'd just be fine. Or if they got the same vaccines that I did, they'd be fine. But it's
Yeah,
it's
I kind of see what Jared's saying. Like, back then, if you got a rash on your arm, they probably just cut it off. Here, they give you an ointment or something.
It's
Yeah, because of medical advances.
it's a very extreme question for a I don't know, for like a simple problem.
Mhm.
I guess it like I don't know how to phrase that. But like when we're at work, okay, and
Yeah.
we're working with metal, and most of the metal around work is usually rusted, especially the outside ones. And you get
Oh,
cut,
you don't say.
and you get cut, and you're like, oh man, I hope you have your tetanus shot.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
everybody has had a tetanus shot, or
Yeah.
most people. I'd say 95% of people have had a tetanus shot. So it's like, oh, I hope you have your tetanus shot. That's the joke.
Yeah.
So
Well, because I get where you're coming from, and I'm not saying like all medical advancements, as far as like shots are concerned or vaccinations. I mean, there's ones that have been proven to be 100% fact, obviously, especially like us who live right now, and then the ones who haven't, because there's a lot of parents now who are not trying to get their kids vaccinated. And truth be told, I don't think that's a good idea. I think they should get vaccinated. I was just talking about the specific flu shot that we've been getting, because that one seems like it's caused problems here and there for people.
See, I think that just depends on the person. If you're going just flu shots, I think it depends on the person. I think it depends on their immune system. It might be.
Well, then if that's the case, do you think people should be screened beforehand whether or not they have a good or not bad, good, strong immune system or not? Because that's not going to help their immune system per se.
I don't know if there is a screening for that though. I mean, I'm
Well,
not a medical professional, obviously.
Yeah, but
I don't think there is a screening to tell you how strong your immune system is.
do you think there should be?
Well, if there is, what would be the cost of it as well
Exactly.
versus just a company going out to a business and saying, "Hey, we're here to administer flu shots."
Dude, I could walk into a
today."
CVS and get a flu shot right now.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, Walmart.
And I think maybe it's become more they've become more generalized to where they, maybe like kids need to get a smaller dose, or because their immune systems aren't like up to handling that much at one time, because that's basically just getting the virus. The whole point is to give it such a small amount that it doesn't get you sick, but your body can fight it. So maybe it's just your body can't handle that amount, so you need to like tone it down. But then you're like, okay, well, how do we tell who needs to be toned down and who doesn't? And it's like, well, we don't.
Yeah, because otherwise you would have to do like blood tests or do these physical tests or
exactly. So it's a very, I don't know.
Oh.
I think it's for some people, and it's not for other people. If you want to take the risk on getting sick just from the air,
What do you want to use your 5?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, that was 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, on the flu shot. What do you guys think? Do you think it's good, bad? Do you think we should continue it? Do you think we should stop it? What do you guys think?
Do you
Comment
think
below.
Jared and Eli should fight about it?
I think we should definitely duke it out.
Pa-
That's
pay-per-view
episode
it.
6.
Pay-per-view it, you guys.
Drink your
Episode-
orange juice.
episode-
Take your Flintstones. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Episode 6,
Little exercise
Gavinci
never hurt
Raw
nobody.
versus Mannche.
All right. Well, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That was episode 5. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
having
Thanks for
me
being
again.
on the show.
Hey,
We
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Yeah.
you guys.
Absolutely. Is there any way that people could find you on the internet, Instagram, Twitter, anything like that? Anything like guys would like to plug?
No, I'm good.
All right.
All right. Well, you can find Jared at.
You can find me on Twitter at Jared, Jared, Mannche, Mannche. And then if you want to play some games on PlayStation, hit me up at my username is Mannche, Mannche.
And with me, Gavinci Raw, aka Eli. You can find me at Instagram, Gavinci Raw, Gavinci, and Raw, RAW. And of course, YouTube, just Gavinci Raw, Gavinci, Raw, RAW, the only one. Make sure of that. And also, too, please like, subscribe, comment below. And of course, find 2 Couch Talk. Hey, is now on Twitter and Instagram, and it's only one. So 2, the number 2, Couch, and then Talk. Please look us up.
Yep.
And
Give us a follow. We'll be posting previews, behind the scenes.
Yep.
yeah, all that good stuff. So yeah, if you guys like the show, like I said, please comment, subscribe, and the biggest thing is talk, you guys. That's the whole point of the show, is to have conversations, talk about stuff that people don't want to talk about. So let's talk about it.
Exactly. We never would have talked about this stuff unless we were in this situation.
This type of situation.
Right.
Yeah.
But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching the episode, and you guys have yourself a great night.
We'll
All
see you
right,
next
thanks,
week.
guys. Peace.